The Winter Haven Women's Club was showing off what's old in '84 at their 17th annual antique show at Nora Mayo Auditorium. Right now we have the pleasure of speaking with Roberta Barnes. How are you today?
I'm very fine, and we thank all of you for coming out.
Well, it's our pleasure, and it's a joy to be here. It looks like a very nice show, and it looks like a good day for it today.
Well, we thought the weather was going to rain us out, but it has cleared up.
Well, let me ask you a very basic question. What is an antique?
This is a whole show of antiques. Glass only has to be 25 years old. Furniture has to be 100 years old. So really, there is no definition for an age of an antique. It's just what category it falls into. And there are collectibles as well.
Now, here's something I just thought of standing here listening to you. At what point in time did they start having antique shows? Any idea about that?
Well, I'm not going to date myself, but I've been doing antique shows for about 27 years. And they've been around a whole lot longer than that, probably 40, 50 years. Some shows are 40, 50 years old. This one is 17 years old.
And I'm so naive in this area. What is depression glass? Let me ask you that.
Depression glass was a cheap quality of glass that was put out during the Depression. Some of it came in cereal and soap and that type of thing. And they were premiums, and people collected them until they got an entire set.
Now, are you yourself an antique collector?
I'm an antique collector and an antique dealer. When I'm not promoting shows, I'm doing shows.
But officially, in this capacity here today, you are a promoter of Universal Antique Shows. Is that correct?
Right. We bring the show together, the dealers in, get the building, do the advertising, and just bring it all together.
And can you give me some idea of how many shows you're involved with around the country?
I promote this year 8 shows strictly in the central part of Florida, and my most southern show is Key West. We're the official show in Key West during Old Island days.
I see. When, by the way, are the Old Island days? I've already heard some publicity about them.
The Old Island days in Key West is during their season, basically from January until March. And our show this year falls between the 8th and the 12th.
And now here in Winter Haven, this is the 17th annual antique show, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Affiliated with the Women's Club. This is their single fundraiser for the year, and then the money goes back into the community.
At the antique show, the consignment booth plays a very important role. We spoke with Leah Kearns, co-chairman of the booth.
Consignment booth is the only money-making project that the Women's Club has yearly. It's the Universal show, and we take things on consignment. We charge 20% for selling, and we do very well. All the money, the proceeds that come from it are used right in the community for betterment and for things that needful things that we spend our money for.
Well, that's so grand. It sounds like a very fine project. Now, where do these items come from? Local people or not that come in on consignment to you?
They come from local people mostly, although there are some people from Lakeland and towns around like the Haines City and Lake Wales that consign things to us.
So the idea is they bring it in on consignment, and if it is sold, the Women's Club keeps a percentage and the rest goes to the person bringing it in. Is that correct?
That's correct. We keep 20%. Since inflation is so bad, we did consider raising our consignment percentage, but we didn't do it since the freeze.
Well, that's very considerate.
And then the big day in Tampa and all that over this weekend. But we stayed, and we've done very well so far. We have one more day to go, one afternoon. The show starts at noon every day, and there are about 35 booths here of people who come from all over eastern United States, and they show their wares, and they sell, and we sell.
Well, that sounds like a grand show. And let me ask how many years you've been associated with the antique show?
About 6 years.
And who is the co-chair person with you in the consignment booth?
Heidi Kohlhauser, Mrs. Edward Kohlhauser, and we can't find her right now. She's out selling things all over this place.
Well, that's the idea, getting out there and selling things. Okay.
And you grabbed me on the way, too.
Well, that's because you're so attractive.
That's you know what my husband said. They asked him if he had any antiques to consign, and he said, "Well, I've got one that I might sell." And I made sure he named it, but I wasn't the one.
Oh, I see. Well, I appreciate your sense of humor. And I'm sure he does, too.
Well, I hope.
Thank you so much for chatting with us. When co-chairman Heidi Kohauser returned from making a sale, we asked her how successful the Women's Club Antique Show is.
It's been very successful. In fact, we have people of the area and the surrounding areas, Lakeland, Orlando, they wait for our show because they think it's one of the good shows in central part of Florida. It's always been it gets more successful each year. Yesterday, because of the bad weather, we didn't have the amount of people coming in that we would have liked, but I think we're making up for it today, and in fact I know we will, and we'll surpass next year, I'm sure.
Now, when the people bring things in on consignment, about how many items would you say you actually are offering for sale this year?
Hundreds and hundreds. We did go out 3, 4, 5 days. If they have a lot of items that they want to give to us on consignment, we go to their homes, or we have gone to their homes, because we have 2 certified appraisers that will appraise these articles, and then we try to sell it, and we get 20% of the selling price.
I see. And now that 20% then goes where, may I ask?
Well, it's to the Women's Club, but all of it goes right back into the area for different projects, girls' clubs, Meals on Wheels, and all worthwhile organizations that need help.
A variety of food was available at the antique show and seemed to be as big an attraction as the antiques themselves.
I made all of it myself except the desserts, and they are donated by the members of the Women's Club.
I see. And what is the object? People can come down and actually buy food here and eat, is it correct?
They eat it all here. We don't take out any dinners, they eat here.
Okay. And how long have you been in charge of the home-cooked food? Just this year or in years past?
4 years.
Well, you must be doing something right if they have you do it every year, right?
It grows every year.
Now, let me ask you, do you have any low-calorie food?
Not really.
Okay. But then all the best food always has been high-calorie, hasn't it?
Right, I think so.
Is there any specialty you have this year?
Our chicken salad is our specialty, and this year we had Spanish bean soup, and it all went the first day.